everybody, it's Safi and Marco, Dish It on the Movies. And today we're doing the next Buddy Valastro Cake Dynasty episode. And it is, I don't know, is it just called Spumoni or... It's not Spumoni Cake.
Safi, that's your department. You didn't look at the title of the
Well,
episode?
it has Spumoni, and it's just Spumoni in the title, and whatever, they make Spumoni. But, today...
I think it's called Holy Spumoni.
Oh, okay.
Is it?
I don't know.
I don't know.
You told me to turn my phone off. It doesn't matter. It's the next episode. The subject matter in this episode is they have to do a cake for the Madonna dei Martiri Italian Club, which is a club that Buddy and his family, his father, his mother, grew up with. And so he knows all the people. He feels like they're his family. And they have, every year, it's called a prosciutto golf open, and they use the money for their club. And they want him to make a cake, but they also want him to make spumoni. And now when we get spumoni at the store, it's like a special ice cream. It has, what is it? Is it pistachio ice cream, chocolate, and cherry ice cream, I believe. It's a 3-flavor ice cream, and it has nuts in it.
Yeah, Safi really likes it.
And they hardly ever have it. It's usually over Christmas. But this traditional spumoni that Buddy has made since he was a kid, but they don't make it very often because he says it's a pain in the ass because there's so many steps, but he wants to do it but it's not the cake. It's separate from the cake. So the cake will be one thing, and then spumoni will be the other that he brings to the club. And then the other things is they have Marco and Carlo are going to be confirmed, and they are Catholic. So it is the first promise or commitment that you make on the way to becoming an adult, to doing something, and that will be to be a Catholic. So they're all Catholic, and so that is what the confirmation ceremony stands for. And so Sophia is going to make the cake. Then they have to come up with the cake, and they talk, and then they have to make the spumoni, and they go through all that, and then they'll go to the golf. They'll actually participate. All the young guys with their relatives will be like a 4-man team. So I think it's Marco and Buddy Jr. and 2 of their cousins, and then we have Buddy and what's his name, Joey. That's his brother-in-law, and 2 other people. They'll make the adult side of the team. So go ahead, Marco. I'm going to get a drink while you say your piece.
Well, I thought that this was the best episode so far because it wasn't stressful. It was really funny, and it was also, it felt like, I don't know, it felt like the most entertaining episode so far because it wasn't really like a Cake Boss episode. It was like a sibling versus sibling episode where it was just all about his kids fighting with each other so that one of them can be on top and take over the business. And I really liked the way that you saw that dynamic in this episode because, you know, we've been kind of in the dark about that dynamic. You know, we haven't really gotten to see this rivalry that they have. You know, you have Carlo, and he's only at the end of the episode, but he was almost like, it reminded me of like a villain cameo, because like the whole episode, like he's not shown at all. But then right at the end, he comes in, and he's just like, I don't know. It just seems like he's a totally different person than they are, and he thinks that two of them aren't very productive, I guess. And then the sister has a rivalry with her brothers because they have kind of like a boys club thing going on. And then the two brothers have a rivalry with each other. So I thought that was really cool and fun. And I thought
seemed a lot more honest and open than before. It seems like they've been playing for the camera, but they seem to forget that the camera was there.
Yeah. Well, a lot of the times before, you just see them, they're there, and they smile at the camera, and you don't see anything else. But in this, it's like you see a lot of stuff throughout the episode, and it's really, really funny. I highly enjoyed it, but I know that some people will say, this is not really like Cake Boss.
It's not supposed to be Cake Boss. It's a completely different show.
Well, I know, so I'm saying that we like it, but we know that some other people might not like it as much. Because we haven't gotten any comments, we haven't gotten any likes, or any subscribers because of the show. And I think it's because, maybe people don't know about it, or because they're not as much of a fan of it as Cake Boss.
That's interesting.
I don't know.
Well, I thought it was really good, too. I laughed a lot. And I just thought it was more honest and real. I mean, it is like reality TV. So... Instead of being scripted and...
they're the Kardashians of the cake world.
Well, there were...
what?
It's just a different thing.
What?
The Kardashians.
Why?
I don't know. I think it's... I don't know how to say it. It just... the Kardashians seems like, even though those girls have made lots of business, it still is a little bit more soap opera-y. And,
well, how do you know it won't turn into that, though, with the Valastro family? How do you know?
With the sibling rivalry, because I thought that was actually, aside from the Spumoni, because I really love Spumoni ice cream, I thought the sibling rivalry part was very interesting.
There were elements in the Cake Boss show that felt like a soap opera, like they had the mom getting sick, and then, later on, they had the wife possibly getting sick, and, Buddy with the whole hand injury thing. So, that was like soap opera kind of stuff, right? So...
No, I'm talking about the many marriages and things like that.
Well, hopefully we don't see any of that, because I really don't want to at all.
I know. But that's why I say it's a kind of a different dynamic. But I don't watch it, but I mean, it's just it's on the news. It's like, it doesn't matter whether the Kardashians have a show.
Yeah, I was thinking
whatever happens with them, it's always in the news.
I was thinking of reviewing it, because I thought it would be really funny.
You might not last, because it's just slobbering them up sometimes.
I don't know. And so, my favorite moment of this episode was probably the moment where Sophia was leaving Grace's office, and then all of a sudden you hear, "Help! Help!" and it turned out that Marco was locked in what they called the graveyard room, and he was trying to find the fondant, and he's just like, "Help me! Help me!" and he's pounding on the door, and she had to let him out and unlock the door, and I thought that was hilarious, because...
I can't figure out if that was a deliberate... I know it wasn't on her part, but I'm wondering if his brother locked the door.
No, I don't think so.
You just think it was an accident?
Well, I would hope that his brother wouldn't lock him in the door, because that would be like a bad thing to do when you're at work.
Well, it's a waste of time.
Get fired for something like that.
Yeah.
And you'd think, how long would he have been in there if not for Sophia?
Right. I don't know, but he was really mad, but he didn't seem to be mad at her. So.
No.
And she said, because he got locked in there, she was shocked. And she said, "You can't make this shit up." And they bleeped out the word shit. So.
Yeah, you got to see a lot of Sophia this episode. This episode was definitely a Sophia Ford episode. And, we got to start talking about, like, the replacement, Buddy's replacement, because that seems to be, like, a huge theme of the show. It's like, who's going to be the next Buddy? Is it going to be him or her? And probably not Carlo. Who knows, though, because he kind of seems like
he's a wild card.
He's the wild card, like, villain who's going to come in and just, like, wipe the floor with everyone or something, and then it'll be Carlo's Bakery, literally. Right?
Right.
So,
I don't know, though. He's not involved very much in what they're doing in the baking room.
Who do you want to replace Buddy?
Well, I think it should be a family thing. I don't think it should be...
I mean, like the leader of the business. Like, you could still have, like, the other people in the family working at the bakery, but who's going to be, like, the leader who takes over for Buddy and becomes the new face of the bakery? And
oh, I don't know.
Who do you think?
But see, it's really hard to say, but, they're really male-oriented because it's an Italian family, and I know Marco might not agree with me. But they also, he made several remarks about his daughter. She had to make the confirmation cake.
Oh, he's just being nice, Safi. He's not, no offense, but, like, I don't think that he takes her seriously as being a replacement for him.
I don't know, but he said he likes her attention to detail on the cake. She reminds him of when he was a kid working alongside his father, and
well, I would say that I might say that I would want her to replace him because she's gone to school for business,
and she knows how to make cake,
and because she knows how to make roast beef, and so, like, she can make savory and sweet, whereas Buddy Jr. couldn't beat her at that sandwich competition. So well, I would vote for her to be his replacement. So
I don't know if it should just be one person, but you're talking about it. What if it was
the other people will still be in the business, but who will replace him?
I don't know, because I don't know if Buddy Jr. or Marco. I don't know about Carlo. Like I said, he's the wild card. I don't know if those two take it seriously.
I don't either.
They don't seem like they do, but I mean, Marco's he's 16. So, I mean, he has a few years to think about it and grow up. And Buddy Jr., remember, he's got a dilemma. He doesn't know whether to go to college, which I think his mother would like for him to go to college, or be at the bakery and work with his dad.
Well, I would say that if he goes to college, he should not be Buddy's replacement, because it shows that he is not really as serious about the bakery as he leads on. And then I would say, since Sophia, she went just because she wanted to, and then she also wanted to come back to the bakery, I would say that she's a lot more serious about the bakery, because, since she's gone to college and gotten all that, she doesn't even really have to be in the bakery business. She could do whatever she wants, but she's still choosing to go back to the bakery. And so I would say that she's more worthy of a successor because of that.
But the thing about Buddy's history is that he had all these sisters, and then there was him. He was the only boy. And like for his own family, it's just the opposite. Sophia's the only girl, and then he has 3 boys. But anyway, he would work in the back with his dad, and they would make all the cakes and everything else for the bakery. And all the girls, the daughters, they would be out front selling. And so the father died, he said, at age 54. So, but he talks about how he quit school because he had to take over because the girls, they hadn't been making cake or making any of that stuff, just him. So if they wanted to continue the business, he had to take over his father had been doing, which was all the baking. So that's the way it had been structured.
I feel like that you got to take this into account. Who do you think customers would rather go into the shop and order cake from?
Probably Sophia.
No, I mean back then.
Oh,
when
back then,
the sisters or the men?
Well, I guess the sisters.
Yeah, so that's why, Safi. That's the reason why.
Okay, well, anyway, so...
It's true.
They were talking about that the sister who... you know what her name is? The one who does the business side.
Grace.
She has an office there. Joey is her husband.
And I thought it was cool because she's gotten an elliptical in her office. And I think it would also be really cool to have an elliptical in the office. And be able to work and then, do the elliptical.
Yeah.
That'd be cool.
Yeah. But she was explaining all that to Sophia, and she said, I think it's going to be different. Or it can be different now because, you have been making cakes and you've gone to college, so, don't, and because what happened was she had been making the confirmation cake, and they have all these decorations on it. They have to be gold. So, like, there's a big cross in the middle. She's got to make that. That sets up at the top. And then they have, I don't know what they're called. I think they have them Boy Scouts. It's a symbol. Can't think of what the symbol's called. And so that goes.
It's called a gold thing.
Well, it's around. It goes around.
It's just the gold
cake,
thing.
The sides, and then there's also you have these little gold dots all over the cake too, and they work on the instead of it being smooth, they make some kind of like a texture, and then you put the dot in each of the lines of the texture. So they have the edible paint. She was painting all the gold decorations, and her brother, Buddy Jr., came up and he criticized her and said she wasn't doing that great of a job.
Well, he also was saying, like, is that all that she's been doing all day? Like, as if, like, she probably hasn't done anything else. And so, she went to Grace, and Grace gave her the talk. No, she didn't give her the talk, but she gave her a talk. And I'm glad that we didn't get to see that. But, like, that was so this episode was pretty good. And it just feels like Grace is a little bit more, Sophia is a little bit more serious about, like, becoming a true successor to Buddy than her brothers.
Yeah. And I guess did I say this, that Moro...
No.
Moro is one of the...
So is that your favorite moment? What's your favorite moment of the episode, Safi?
Well...
Favorite moment?
I have two, I guess.
Oh,
I thought it was interesting. The boys started arguing and fighting and over what they were doing, because they're both helping out with the cake. For example, they had to get the modeling chocolate, and what they're going to have is a golfer on top of prosciutto. So they have to cover all that with modeling chocolate, and modeling chocolate comes in rolls. And what you do is you feed it through a machine. It's kind of like the machine that you do with making noodles. And it flattens it out and makes it more workable. And I don't know, it says something like one of them, so you put too much water in it or something, like they must put water in the machine or something to get it to flatten out. I don't know.
Yeah.
I was a little surprised by that, but I guess and you put too much in, because it was coming out in little pieces.
Yeah, that was really funny. These like tiny little pieces of modeling chalk wit.
Which is not right, of course.
That was really...
So they were not getting along, and Moro makes this guy who's been around with the grandpa.
He's a lot more like understated now as a character.
Yeah, his name is Moro. Anyway,
he's actually on Cameo. You can buy a cameo from him.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So he says, these boys fight all the time. They're like little children fighting all the time. And I don't want to be a babysitter. I have too many other things to do.
Yeah.
So he complained about it. And what we saw was kind of mild. But I can imagine now this is something that they could cover up with their little being smiling in front of the camera and being good boys and girls. But there's an undercurrent of sibling rivalry between all of them, which I have never seen before. And even when Buddy Jr. criticized Sophia on her painting skills and treating her like she's not even doing anything, she called him a bad name, and she didn't hold back, and
she called him a dick.
Yeah, and so I couldn't believe it. I almost fell out of my chair.
Rightfully so.
Yeah, he was being a jerk. So because I think she has the thing is that she is working towards a goal. She's not exactly sure how it's going to turn out, but I think she has a goal starting to form in her mind, and she just doesn't, I don't think she thinks they take her seriously.
I don't think they do.
Yeah, I think you're right. So that's frustrating to her. So anyway, we'll see what happens in the long run. It'll be interesting because he opened up the episode. I didn't say this. When your family is by your side, it's a piece of cake.
No, he says that in front of every episode.
Oh, he does?
Yeah.
Well,
that's the new like thing that he says. Like, didn't he say something like in the Cake Boss about like showing his family, and then they showed the family picture? Like, this is different now. So, that's the new thing that he's saying, and it's funny because it's like, in the episodes, you kind of see, like, it's a little the opposite.
Yeah, well, yeah, because, it shows the real deal of what that's all about. So
but
anyway,
you guys know who I would vote for if it was a cakeocracy, and I could vote. In fact, that would actually be an interesting thing. If, like, each of them made their own cake flavor, like an original cake flavor, and then you could buy it on Goldbelly. You can buy a slice of each of their cakes. And so you'd have a slice of Buddy Jr., a slice of Sophia, and a slice of Marco. Not me, but the other Marco. And then you could taste them all. And then you get to vote on the Goldbelly website of who would get to reign supreme, and I would probably just vote for her regardless because I don't know.
Okay, so anyway,
what do you think, Safi? You have to give an opinion too. I'm the only one. I'm out on a ledge here.
Well, I think she would do really well too. She's not done. I don't think she's completely ready.
Neither is Buddy Jr. or Marco.
No, neither one of them are ready.
And Carlo isn't either, although he's plotting something. You can see it in his face. He's like, and he's in a suit, and he's like, he looks like a gangster. Right, Safi?
I guess.
Doesn't he look like he's plotting something? Like something terrible, like a cake explosion or something, like an explosion of flavor. What do you think?
You never know. It could be him that takes up, but I don't know. He's too young right now.
I don't know. Maybe he was a baby genius, like in that movie, Baby Geniuses. Maybe he's the real baby genius. Right?
Drink water.
Is that what you have to say?
But I wanted to talk about what they had on this cake for this club.
Oh, you already did.
A golfer with a pink shirt and green pants standing on a big spumoni.
It's not green.
Not spumoni, a big...
it's lime. It's lime, Safi. Lime is a different color than green.
And he's overweight. The sculptor, Anna...
no, Velma.
No, well, yeah, Mark likes to call her Velma. But she does remind us of Velma from Scooby-Doo.
And there was another thing with her, too, where she got so wrapped up in teaching the kids that she was losing focus on her work, and she needed to, get some alone time to finish her work.
So Buddy
she got a little extra frazzled, her hair and everything, a little extra frazzle in this episode.
So Buddy took everybody, all the boys, into this room.
He took them to the woodshed.
And then they had Joey, the brother-in-law, and they all made spumoni. And they get, let's see, they have to pasteurize the ice cream, and they have an ice cream maker. If you've watched any of these cooking shows, the ice cream maker only makes so much ice cream. So they have to keep feeding it in there to make the ice cream. It has to be pasteurized. And then they make, they have to have cinnamon and, where is it? Oh, I lost it. They have to have pieces of fruit, different fruit. They have to cut that up in tiny little pieces.
A fruit.
And mix it in the
You're a fruit.
Whipping cream. And then they have, they make cake and they cut that up into little tiny squares, and that's in the middle of the spumoni. And it has to be vanilla and chocolate ice cream. Oh, and the fruit is candied. And then the ice cream also has to have an orange, cinnamon, and almond flavor in it. So there are lots of steps to it, and Buddy called it a pain in the ass, and that's why they never make it. And then also the brother-in-law, Joey, said it was torture to make it, but they had fun doing it. That's what he said. And so, it's what they did was they had several of these bowls, and they made it in the bowls, and they brought them in these containers, these styrofoam containers, and then the cake was a separate issue. And the cake also, I forgot to say, he's standing up on top of the God, what is it?
I don't think people care. So anyways, here's a good question. What would be the flavor if you had to order a custom cake from Buddy? What flavor would you want to order?
I don't know, probably chocolate or mint chocolate chip.
Mint chocolate chip?
Yeah, mint ice cream with chocolate chips.
Oh, okay. For a cake?
Yeah.
You just said ice cream, though.
What, ice cream cake?
Oh, an ice cream cake. I don't
know if he makes those really, though.
I think he made like one in the entirety of the series. I think that I would probably order, based on the availability of the cake flavors that you can get on the website. I saw that you can't get the caramel cake anymore when you get the bestseller flavors and all that stuff, and so I would get the caramel cake. Because when we got the bestseller cake, I felt like the caramel cake was probably the best flavor that they had, or maybe the second best. And the chocolate was the best because it's chocolate. But I thought that the caramel cake was really good. And the worst was probably the cookies and cream, or the red velvet.
No, ew, gross.
Well, I love red velvet. Red velvet's probably my favorite type of cake.
I don't like red velvet.
But I didn't like their version of red velvet. So, or the cookies and cream. That one was terrible. Safi?
Yeah, I don't know. I have an issue with ordering cakes like that through
Why?
mail. Because I like the fresh cakes that you buy at the bakery here. I think it's better.
Well, the point isn't to do that all the time. The point is to say, like, people at home, they should be able to have the chance to taste the Buddy cakes as well. Because
the ones who don't live in New Jersey.
Yeah, because there's so many viewers all over the country and the world, and they should get the opportunity to eat that as well. And, maybe they shouldn't order it all the time because, I haven't ordered it in a while. The last time I got it was last December when we went to TGI Fridays when we were picking out a Christmas tree, and I got a slice of the cake, the rainbow cake. But, like, that's what I think. Because, like, if it was really frustrating when we had that thing with the UPS keeping the cake hostage over the weekend, and so then it ruined the cake.
Ruined the cake.
And I thought, like, if we had gotten this as, like, a whole cake, like, ugh, that would have been a disaster, a birthday disaster.
Yeah.
And I would give this episode an A+, too. I'd say it's the best episode so far.
Yeah, me too, because I thought it was just a little bit more honest and open, and not hidden the reality, which, it's going to come where they're going to have to decide what they're going to do.
Oh, we know that Buddy is going to choose Buddy, and that's what it's going to happen, but we know it really should happen in an ideal world.
I don't know, and I don't know how the mother factors into it either, because she wants her son, Buddy, she wants him to go to college, and she said that, but she's being quiet and not arguing, but you can tell she wants that.
Well, I would wonder what the brothers would think, or not the brother-in-laws. Like, who do they think should be the successor?
Yeah, or even the sisters. All of them.
You mean like Mary?
All of the sisters, Marco.
Well, I don't know. Who knows?
Who knows?
Because, like, when will they make that decision? Like 30 years from now?
Oh, I don't think it'll be a lot sooner than that.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
So you think he'll make a decision, like, early?
I'd say within the next 10 years.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, I do.
Are you sure?
Maybe even sooner than that.
Ooh.
I'd just say 10 years is a good round figure. And, Sophia's, she's already in college. I don't know how many, maybe she's only gone 1 year.
They said 2 years.
Okay, she did go 2 years. That makes a lot of sense.
So she's already almost ready to go.
Yeah. And then the other kid, maybe still hasn't decided, Buddy Jr., and then of course Marco's 16, and Carlo is even younger than that, so it'll be a little bit longer for them, but we'll have to see what, I don't even see Buddy Jr. being serious about college. Frankly.
I don't either.
He's kind of, I don't know, he's a little spoiled. But he's a good kid, though. They're all good kids. I don't know.
Well, no, I think that he's just passionate about being in the bakery.
He does want to be in
But
the bakery.
I just don't think that he would be right to take over as the leader. I think that he'd be better as, like, an assistant or something like that, or something like where he's in the bakery, but he's not in charge of the whole bakery.
Oh, why can't they have more than one person be in charge?
I don't know.
Like a team.
Well, because I don't think that would work either.
Well, I mean, like, let's say Buddy Jr. and Sophia. Or Sophia and... Well, I don't know, Marco. I don't know if he's going to want to do it. It's hard to say. 16. He
seems like the Morrow of the family, right? Or the Frankie, and then Buddy Jr. seems like the Mary of the family, and then Sophia seems like the Buddy of the family. So
what about Carlo?
Carlo seems like the
wild card,
the Don Corleone of the family, right?
Yeah, I guess so.
From that ending part where he was just like, he's got his arms crossed together and he looks like he's about to order a hit on someone for not giving him a second helping of cake.
Yeah, so he's talking about at the confirmation party. They did show the confirmation at the church, a little bit of it, and then afterwards the party.
Well, do you have anything else to say, Safi?
Not really.
Oh.
I don't have it. They all like they all like the cake, and now they didn't say about the other boys. Sophia wasn't there at the golfing place because she was making the confirmation cake, but Buddy Jr. at least had never had spumoni before, so that was a first for him.
Well, I haven't either, so leave me alone.
So and I don't if he hasn't had it before, the other boy, Marco, he probably hasn't had it either. In fact, Marco is the one who drove the cake over to the club. And the other worker, not Morrow, but the other guy who's been there since with the father, he went with him and he crossed himself before he got in the truck, and he was a little bit worried about the cake getting there safely because Marco was driving. So anyway, everybody they did their golf thing, and everybody ate the cake.
Okay.
And they loved the spumoni.
So?
They were lucky to get it, because it did look like a pain in the rear to make it.
So?
Anyway, so if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. And become one of our subscribers, and tell us, are you anybody out there watching this? Is anybody out there going to watch the new Buddy movie with Lifetime? Because I watched it yesterday. Because we have Hulu. It's on Hulu. And it was pretty good. It was well done. And had the typical things. I'll review it separately. But anyway, I did see it. I don't think Marco's seen it yet.
No, I'm not watching that.
And
I watch real movies.
It's a real movie.
No, it's not.
It's a formulaic, except they had a little twist. They had an ancestry part of it, which made it a little bit different than the usual. But everything else was really basically, it's very, I've seen it all before. Cooking competition, who's gonna win, a romance, you have all that. But the DNA thing was different. It was a very different, and it was interesting because that is a thing that people do, and not only to find criminals, but they do it to find their if they're adopted, they do it to find any family that they are linked to, any of the original family. So anyway, goodbye everybody.
Bye.